Our next two teams are their presentations focus on addressing global issues through local actions. Our first group is focusing on fast fashion.
Hi. So our presentation, like Evan said, is about fast fashion, and you can find us on Instagram at better.threads. Next slide. Yep. So I'm Adam Hussein, high school junior, interested in design and engineering.
I'm Jacob Naeem. I'm also a high school junior and I'm interested in physics and engineering.
I'm Zoe Wilcox. I'm a high school junior and I'm interested in biochem and environmental science.
And we just want to give a special thanks to our mentors who really helped us throughout this whole process. Roger Barnum, who works at Janique and Johansson, and Carly Siegel, who works at Boston Scientific.
Throughout this project, we have been working to reduce the consumption of unsustainable clothing. We plan to do this by increasing awareness in order to combat the unsustainability of fast fashion. This issue is important to us due to its relevance to our age group. Next slide. This is the video that our team submitted to the Teens Dream collab competition.
See this $7 basic white t-shirt? It alone costs about 3 years worth of drinking water for one person. These jeans, they cost about 13 years of drinking water, and this jacket, this costs about 24 years of drinking water. All of these examples are a part of the larger issue of fast fashion. Fast fashion is the sale and production of cheap clothing that lacks quality and longevity. The production of this clothing drains water from natural resources, contaminates local watersheds with harmful chemicals, and emits large amounts of CO2 into the atmosphere. The short lifespan of this clothing also contributes to a lot of global waste and pollution.
Malls all around us with stores like H&M, Zara, and Forever 21 appeal to such large numbers of people due to their extremely competitive pricing. These stores effectively dictate local buying trends for young adults and teenagers who know very little about their negative environmental impact.
And this isn't just a random issue either. The UN has actually identified this problem through the creation of their UN Sustainable Development Goal, number 12. Their focus is primarily on the agriculture and natural resources required to produce these goods. They, along with others, have released some pretty surprising facts on the matter. Our goal is to try to get you guys to start thinking a little bit more about what it is you buy. We want to promote more sustainable brands along with online and physical thrift stores, using social media campaigns, posters, and other methods that inform people about far better options to shop for clothes.
Instead of buying something like this white t-shirt from H&M, you get a similar looking one made out of 100% organic cotton from Everlane for only $18. You could also go to somewhere like the Garment District to pick up something unique and vintage for probably even less.
Through the polling attached to this video, we will be able to measure the impact of spreading our message to see whether or not people would in fact shop at more sustainable places, and if they respond to the information they've learned in this video.
We're not asking you to shut down these stores or demanding the abolishment of these large corporations. We just want you to be a little bit more thoughtful about what it is you choose to buy and consider the impact it really has on our world.
So our project has a local and global connection. On the local level, our project benefits businesses by promoting local thrift stores, and it also benefits individuals by communicating these options that save them money in the long term. And then globally, since we're on Instagram, this campaign can be accessed anywhere in the world. So this means that has the potential to be like replicated on a much larger level. Next slide.
So these are some examples of our solutions, like the graphics we've posted on Instagram. On the left, you can see a more introduction type graphic where we outline our mission statement, what we hope to accomplish and what we want to see from the audience, as well as encourage people to respond to the polling in our bio that helps us understand what they know and what they might want to hear more about, related to fast fashion, of course. And then on the right, there's a graphic about the difference between conventional and organic cotton, which is a big issue in fast fashion. We have statistics, different facts, and a lot of very actionable advice for the audience. So since our goal is increasing awareness and providing advice through an educational campaign, we've aimed to accomplish this by creating a change in the average consumption habits that negatively impact the environment. We think this is effective. We think our project is effective because it offers a style of communication that's very consistent with our target audience, namely teens and young adults who spend a significant amount of their time on these social media platforms. This project gives people very actionable steps that really can be applied to anybody's life and spotlights more sustainable options that make sure people don't have to rely on stores like H&M or Zara or Forever 21, like we mentioned in the video. And this project is also data driven because it's based on information we gain from polling attached to different posts in our bio that we use to improve and develop our prototype even further.
So this is our roadmap for our project. If you look from March until like now in June, you can see our progress and what we've done. And then moving forward, we're going to continue pumping out these graphics on Instagram and expanding our campaign.
Sorry, muted.
Throughout this process, our group has developed better remote collaboration skills, STEM skills, and we have improved in dividing and delegating work. Having worked very closely with the environmental impact of fast fashion, we've become much more environmentally conscious. We have also learned to synthesize complex information into infographics and how to research in a more organized and effective way. Next slide.
Yeah, so all throughout this process, our big question has been, how can we ensure what we produce translates to direct action from the consumer? Since I'm pretty sure we've all seen social media campaigns, especially throughout this year, the main thing that separates a successful social media campaign from an unsuccessful one is the physical action it actually causes from the consumer. When we get people to go out and shop at Everlane, for example, instead of H&M, we can see that this is working and we can see that we're actually making a change, as opposed to just posting information that goes seen but maybe unheard or unlistened to. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, you can email us or put them in the chat. And we want to give another special thank you to everyone from the Metro West STEM Education Network, the McAuliffe Center, and our affiliations at the Smithsonian.
Great job. Thank you very much. Our next team is focusing on the impact that Amazon has on our communities.
Hi, everyone. My name is Natalie DeCunha, and I'm from the Amazon Apocalypse Group. Unfortunately, none of my other teammates could make it today, but their names are Inchita, Shane, Mason, and Owen. Our project goal was to collaborate with Amazon to test our app in their Milford fleet in order to increase each vehicle's fuel efficiency, consequently decreasing their CO2 emissions. Next slide, please. And this is our video that we submitted to the Teens Dream competition.
The recent rise in online shopping has caused serious problems in Milford, Mass. Since we have an Amazon distribution facility in town. The massive amount of vans has resulted in many extra problems. Packaging also fills up landfills. The extra vans are releasing double the amount of CO2 as it would have without them. Extra vans on the road cause more traffic. With more cars sitting in traffic, more cars release CO2 emissions due to idling. Amazon's presence on the road in Milford has gotten to the point where both the townspeople and the selectmen have gone to the state for help with this issue. Problems with this traffic range anywhere from slower commute times to much more CO2 emissions due to extra vehicles on the road.
We plan to change that by working with Amazon to create a sustainable plan that lessens their effect on our town and the environment. We plan to work with Amazon on this problem and develop a solution that meets the needs of both of us. We want to meet with Amazon at least 3 times before the middle of 2021. By the end of 2021, we want to have 10% of their Milford delivery fleet electric.
The way we will work with Amazon is through their spokesperson at our facility. Since we have their contact information, we will be able to work directly with them to demand our requests for change. If Amazon does not follow through, we will publicize their failure to put pressure on the company and light a fire under them to get them moving.
In conclusion, by working with Amazon in the town of Milford, we hope to make a sustainable environment that is safe for everyone now and in the generations to come.
So our project focused on a local to global connection. Our greenhouse gases are, everyone seems to know about them now from school. They're CO2 emissions and methane in the atmosphere that cause the global warming to heat up the globe. And so a lot of that is due from vehicles, and Amazon is contributing to that. So by implementing our solution in local Amazon delivery vehicles, we will increase their fuel efficiency so that our project can move towards their entire global line, making the large company hurt the environment less. Additionally, our solution doesn't just have to be implemented in our town, it can eventually grow and expand to other towns or even to other delivering companies. Next slide. So our solution is an app. Next slide. Our initial goal was to have Amazon switch their entire fleet to electric vehicles. However, an app that reduces fuel usage is much more feasible in a small amount of time and money as compared to our initial idea. The app will benefit everyone involved because it's easy for Amazon to implement in their current delivery system, since each driver will be able to download the app onto their phone or work device, regardless of which operating system they use. It's easy for drivers to navigate due to its simplicity. It's interactive, which creates a better experience for drivers. It includes rules of the road to help keep drivers and other people on the road safe, which benefits the residents of Milford, and it creates a delivery route that reduces carbon emissions as much as possible to benefit the environment. Next slide, please. So the next couple of slides are visuals of the blueprints for our app. This screen is what the app will first open to on the first use. Each time the driver logs out or is logged out by their phone, this is the screen that pops up when the app is opened. Next slide, please. The app will open each time the driver is logged in to this page. The insert name section will automatically say the driver's first name as it is registered with the company. Then through the profile page, which you'll see later, the driver can change it. The box in the middle gives a general overview of the driver's route for the day, as well as instructions about where to go to find the route in more depth. Users will also notice how the page they're on is highlighted at the bottom. Where it says welcome, you can see it's highlighted. These are example DMs pages for drivers to talk with other drivers in their area. There will be a do not disturb while driving feature in order to keep drivers safe on the road. The first image specifically is the display for someone who has not messaged anyone or been messaged by anyone yet. This is most likely to be new drivers. And the second image is still the messages page, but shows what a driver with messages might look like. Next slide, please. These are the map page, which conveniently have the route pre-calculated once the driver enters the app or logs in if they aren't already. It has easy to see important landmarks, which you can see they're red, yellow, and blue. The second image shows what the driver can see when they open the menu in the top left corner. It has a key for the map and pulls up the menu at the bottom of the screen for drivers to access the other pages. Also, because the map is the main part of our app, we hope to incorporate Google API because it's really easy to use and incorporate in websites and apps, and it will help with route efficiency. Next slide, please. This is an example profile to show what the setup would look like. The second image shows more in depth what the selection process for gender will look like. To include everybody, it has a non-binary and other option. The other option allows users to type in their gender if it's not listed. Both the non-binary and other option allow users to type in whichever pronouns they use as well. The male and female option default to he or him and she or her. Next slide, please. This again shows the setup for the profile, but it's the before and after. The second image shows what the user's profile will look like to others with the private profile option turned off. And as you can see, the third image has the private profile selected. Next slide, please. This page is specific to each driver based on their fuel efficiency. It displays that data to the driver in a somewhat easy way to understand. The blue line going down is a good thing because it means that the driver's fuel use is going down. The red line is going up, which is a bad thing because it means that the driver's fuel use is going up. We will have the fuel efficiency as a fraction out of the total efficiency possible for the driver based on their route for that day. That way, comparing fuel efficiency will be easier and proportional to each day-by-day route, and drivers aren't penalized for the impossible. Next slide, please. Our next steps. So what we've done so far, we found a global problem that we were interested in, brainstormed ideas for local solutions to that problem. We selected the best solution, made a video, found contacts at Amazon and through our town, and created the blueprint for our app. So the next steps are to talk with Amazon and Milford Select Board, test the prototype, implement the final product, which is to actually make the app, and then possibly reach out to other towns or delivering companies to implement the final product there. Next slide, please. We decided to split up what we've learned into categories. So generally, we've learned how to collaborate online, how to follow a timeline and tight schedule, so time management, how to present information in a digestible manner for diverse audiences to understand, how to make a video and presentation, how to make a prototype, how to ask for help when we need it, how to make a blueprint for an app, about the technical specs of the vehicles we were looking into, how helpful mentorship is, and how to find a local solution to a global problem. Specifically, I learned how not to complicate things. So look at the big picture and what needs to get done rather than extra things that aren't necessary. And then one of my teammates, Mason, learned the process of developing an idea and a product and how it's done. Next slide, please. Thank you to everyone who helped us, our mentors, Jeff and Matt from DuPont, Callie from St. Gobain, the Metro West STEM Education Network, all Google products because they were very helpful to our presentations, Framingham State University, the McAuliffe Center for Integrated Science Learning, Smithsonian and Smithsonian affiliates, the Teens Dream competition, and Zoom.
Excellent. Great job to both teams. Take a moment for a pause. There is a question in the chat for our Amazon team, and let me scroll to it to see it. There is a question for Amazon that focuses on how can your app be applied to outside of just Amazon?
Since we are creating an app that can be downloaded on, Android or Apple phones or any other phone or working device, we figured that would be easy for anyone, anywhere to access the app. And that way, delivering companies like UPS and, even like something like Uber that, people need to go places in a short amount of time, they can implement the app easily into all of their drivers' phones. And then it would be efficient routes for everyone involved. And then also any other towns with Amazon can implement this app there because Amazon will already have the drivers in their database.
Excellent. There is one additional question for both teams, I believe. And the question is, what are the hardest challenges when addressing environmental issues that are impacted by the actions of large companies or corporations?
I can go first. I would say that working with large companies is definitely the hardest part, like getting in touch, getting them to collaborate and see your perspective. we found, a connection to Amazon through our town, but it wasn't easy to connect with them. They didn't have like a high level of, I guess, superiority in the company, so they couldn't make big changes themselves. And so you have to work your way from the bottom up.
I would say for my group, the biggest challenge was, so we weren't necessarily trying to focus on the brands, but more of the consumers of these large brands, because we know how competitive the pricing is. And obviously these brands know what they're doing with like advertising. So it's just, at the end of the day with ours was just making sure that we educated our audiences to the best of our ability, because that's all we can really do. We can't just like, at the end of the day, like we're not going to know what these people are going to go home and do. So yeah, I think that was just like the biggest challenge. Like, how do we get these people to listen to us and stop shopping at these stores that are creating all these issues?
Yeah, and just to add on to that, I would say it's also finding competent alternatives. Like there are a lot of instances where you see companies doing these like bogus green lines, or like this is totally organic or something, and then it's just that the material that the tag's made out of is what turns out to be organic. And I'm not even exaggerating. That's actually happened. So it's like we don't want to just tell them, hey, stop shopping here. We want to make sure that like there's somewhere else you can go, and that makes it difficult because you have brands like Patagonia that are a little more high end, and it shows in their pricing. So finding things like Everlane and finding some of the other things that were in our video were really just, it was difficult at first, and making sure that they were competent and that they were better alternatives for the people we were directing to them. But yeah, like Zoe said, it's also a big part of it is about getting people to listen to you in the first place.
Excellent. Thank you, both teams. There is one comment in the chat about greenwashing, that it is everywhere. So I think focusing on that and trying to educate people about greenwashing is a great take.